why don't I experience peace like on an ongoing or regular basis? I don't know if you ask yourself these things or notice, right? That there's like more reactivity than that often in our space, right? And what's that about? What's that about? So I want to lean into Patanjali a bit here. He says the number one, the goal of yoga is the stilling of our mental space, or the stilling of all thought waves, stilling to a point of stillness. I'm getting this image of this very tranquil pool off in the forest, and surrounded by the perfect rocks and everything, and this crystal pool that you can just see down into the deep, deep depth of it, and there's no ruffle or disturbance, and it's like a sheet of glass, mere reflection, that kind of mental stillness, and deeper still. And then he says, well, meanwhile, we have the mind is more busy than that, and you have what's called klishta and aklishtaha, which is painful thoughts and non-painful thoughts. What are the characteristics of painful thoughts? Well, it's basically all the grasping and the clinging and the identifying with transitory things, whether that's in our environments or this sense of possessions, or with our own particular body, aging, sickness, getting hurt, etc., or or our particular thoughts or preconceptions. Like that we get attached, anything that we get attached to in those transitory arenas are classified as klishta, as painful thoughts. And aklishta, meanwhile, is a return to the witness, or the return to the seer, the observer who can just kind of watch clouds pass through the sky, or watch our own mental content just objectively without reactivity, right? And he says the number one characteristic of klishtaha is what's called avidya, or ignorance, what are called the five kleshas, the five inborn, deeply baked in mental presupposition, the five kleshas. And we may think on one level that it's traffic or taxes or the government, or the fact that your partner doesn't seem to take out the trash when you ask them to, that is the source of your angst and frustration and worldly malaise, when in fact, according to Patanjali, it's one of these five things that are actually internal, that is where the sort of mechanism friction occurs. Where we, like that feeling of upset, where does that happen? That happens in here. And if you slow down and replay the tape, the thing that led you to the upset, you'll find evidence of these kind of five features. And I'm not going into all of them, but the first is what's called avidya. And good news is vidya means to know. Like knowledge can be awesome, like, oh wow, deep insight. The A in front of it means not knowing, not knowing, not knowing. And what is it that we're not knowing? We're not knowing our fundamental or essential identity as witness, as observer, as the seer, to use Patanjali's words that he lays out earlier on in book one. The seer, the witness, the one, again, who can watch thoughts as they transitorily come and go, can watch the clouds in the same manner, can watch a whole lifetime just, doing its sort of dance, but without getting tethered and dragged along for the ride mentally. So the witness is that one that your power, in a very kind of applied sense, your power of objectivity, or your power to kind of self-regulate and center. But it goes much deeper than this self-regulate word might suggest. And so avidya is like the cornerstone, like not understanding our essential nature, mistaking self for many transitory things, the comings and going. Now, in practice, what this will look like today is the cultivation of that kind of witnessy space, to be the observer of your own experience, and notice that there's layers to it. It's not as fixed as it might seem.